everybody, before I begin, I would like you all to begin, so I would like you all to stand up please, and I would like you to face a partner. So if you're in a line of three, if you can turn around, or has everybody got someone that they're facing? If you haven't, just, or you can join in a three if you've got some. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I'd like you to give yourselves an A or a B. Someone be A and somebody be B. So I would like you to introduce yourselves. So don't worry about saying why you're here or who you've come to see, but just take 10 to 15 seconds. A will go first. I'll let you know when you need to swap over to B. So off you go, A, if you introduce yourself. Okay, if A could stop and B takes over, please. Next 10 to 15 seconds. Okay, if you could bring that to a close. If everybody would like to take a seat, please. If you would like to take a seat over here, thank you very much. Okay, so I'm guessing your introduction might have gone something like this. So I would have said, hi, I'm Sophie. I'm a cognitive behaviour therapist. I work in adult mental health. I live in Macclesfield and I have a dog called Belle. So this would be what I describe as version 1. So version 1 is a little bit more factual. It's about what you do. So in a minute, I'm going to ask you to do version 2. So what is version 2? So version 2 is a little bit more descriptive. So if I was going to introduce myself with version 2, I would say, hi, I'm Sophie, I'm a nature lover, I'm independent, I'm hardworking, I'm adventurous. So if you could all stand up again. Be the same A and B that you were last time. If you're in a 3, someone else have a go. All right, so A, if you're off you go. Okay, if A, you want to stop, and B, you take your turn. B, take your turn. Is that loud enough? Bit hovering. Okay, everybody, if you would like to take your seats again, please. Thank you very much. So did anybody notice a difference in how they felt doing version 1 and version 2? Would anybody care to share how it felt different?
Yeah, it's like a different connection when you're just free-flowing rather than saying the usual surface level.
Yes, okay, yeah, and anybody else?
Slightly more interesting.
Okay, yeah. Is that you or the other person? Yeah. Okay, so why don't we usually introduce ourselves this way? Well, it isn't usual, is it? We usually go for the facts. We might not be used to describing ourselves in this way, or we might not know what words to use to describe ourselves. So why have we just done this exercise? Well, I'd like you to start noticing the words that you use to and about yourself. So research shows that we have up to 60,000 thoughts and words in a day. So I'm sure you'll agree that is a lot of thoughts and words, and those thoughts and words contribute to our belief system about ourselves. So how we see ourselves, how we see other people, and how we see the world around us. So they're really important. And I'm sure you might have all heard as well the rhyme, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So it's something that I know we used in the playground at school to try and brush off, people kind of saying names, and to kind of say that it didn't matter. But it does matter, and in a little while we'll see why it does. For now, I'd like you to join me in a typical NHS room. It's a kind of pretty nondescript bluey-grey colour. It's got a couple of threadbare chairs, and it's all looking a little bit tired. and I'm waiting for my next client who's coming in. And I've read a little bit about her, but I'm wondering what she's going to be like. Now, I'm sure you've all heard of Mr. Men and the Little Misses. The door opens and in comes Little Miss Doubtful. So we'll call her Dee for short. So Dee comes in and takes a seat, and I say, "What's brought you here today, Dee? How can I help you?" She says, "Well, Sophie, I'm in this good job, and there's been a couple of promotions that have come up at work. And I'd really like to go for one of these, but there's something that just stops me. And each time it comes up, I just take one step towards it, and then I take a step back, and then I just walk in the other direction." So I said, "So Dee, what happens then? What is it that affects you?" She says, "Well, I just start getting all these thoughts in my head. I start getting really anxious. I start worrying about what people will think of me, and I kind of think that I'm just not going to do a very good job. And so I don't go for it." So have you ever had a time like Dee where there has been something in your life that you would have liked to have gone for, but something stopped you from going for it? If you've been in that situation, if you'd just like to raise your hand. So it's very common, we can all just think that there's things in our lives that we would like and we don't go for them. So if we head back over to Dee, we explored a bit more for Dee why this was happening. So we said, "Dee, what I'd like you to imagine is that you're at a party and there's a buffet table in front of you. And on that table is foods that you do like and there's foods that you don't like. So what would be a food that you would pick that you like?" So she said, "Well, that would be cake. Love a bit of cake. Always got to have a bit of cake on my plate. So I'd have a bit of chocolate cake." "And what would be a food that you wouldn't like?" Be one of those little vol au vent things that's got filling in that looks like it's been sat there for a few days. I wouldn't put one of those on my plate. So why wouldn't you put one of those on your plate, Dee? Well, that's obvious, isn't it? I don't like them, so why would I make myself eat them? So if we think then, Dee, about you having another buffet table, and this is your table of life, and you've got a choice about what you would like to put in your life. So if we think about the chocolate cake being this new job, and we think about the vol au vent being your current job, why are you putting the vol au vent on your plate? Well, Sophie, that's interesting, isn't it? Why am I doing that? And why do we do that? You know, I'm sure everybody here at times has things happening in their lives or not doing things in their lives that they really want to do. So it sounds simple, doesn't it? Just to say, do the things you like, don't do the things you don't like. So it's interesting why and how we complicate things. So over the next 3 months, Dee and I worked together to understand why for Dee she wasn't doing the things she would have liked to do in her life. So it's her last session, and the door opens, and Little Miss Doubtful has been replaced by Little Miss Sunshine, and she brings a warm glow into the room. And I say, how are you doing, Dee? She says, "Absolutely fantastic. I've applied for this job and I'm really excited, and I just can't wait, to move on in a different direction in my life." And I say, "Well, what is it then that's helped you to learn that?" She said, "Well, all the belief work that we did around understanding what was stopping me. I understand now that growing up in a high-achieving family, expecting things to be 100% of the time had left me with this fear of failure. And I felt like if I went for something like that job, it was going to take me out of my comfort zone, and there was the possibility I might not do very well. And so I thought I might fail. And so that scared me, and I didn't want to do that. But now I feel like I've got an understanding of where that's come from, and I can go on to make other changes in my life." And so Dee said, I don't know, just really grateful for all the help that you've given, and I don't know why you do what you do, but I'm so glad that you do. So that took me back to thinking about why I did what I did. So we're back in 1985. I'm 11 years old. I'm in my first term at high school. I'm in the junior playground of high school. I've got plaits in my hair, and I've got little parrot hair clips in, and I'm in the innocence of the primary school bubble. Longden, you're on free school meals. Longden, you're a bastard because you haven't got a dad. Now, I don't know if you've ever had a time where you were made fun of for circumstances that were no fault of your own. It's 1988, I'm 14, I'm in my bedroom at home. I've got the same flowery wallpaper on the walls that's been there since I was about 8, but now it's got Duran Duran posters and aha posters on the walls. And my cat Mandela is sitting on the bed and he's watching my fish Gilbert and William swimming around in the tank. Sophie, yes, Mum, there's something I need to talk to you about. Okay. The door opens and in walks an older version of me. Just so you know, all of this stuff that you're into, being vegetarian, joining all these animal charities, all these books on apartheid that you've got, it's all going to go. It's going to go. Why is it going to go? It's all, the books are going to get burned, everything's going in the bin. Why is it going in the bin? Well, I've been to a house group tonight and they've prayed for me. And you know those swellings that I've been getting in my hands and feet? Well, they've decided that it's because there is an occult force in the house. And that occult force is you, because of all these things that you're into, burning these joss sticks. Me? I thought I was just a teenager trying to save the world. Clearly other people saw that differently. But it's no surprise that I left home at 16. So fast forward 1994, I'm 20 years old. I'm with my boyfriend. And he's looking at me a bit funny. And I say, what? And he says, well, I was just thinking, you're not very attractive, are you? Sorry? Well, other women, they're much more attractive than you. They've got bigger boobs than you. They're real women. Okay. Have you ever had a time where somebody put you down for the way that you looked? Or have you ever had a time where you tried to change your circumstances, but found yourself in a similar situation? So what do? Well, you try and change it, don't you? So I tried to change it. What did I do? Pretty cringeworthy, but I bought hypnotherapy tape that claimed to make your boobs grow bigger. And I'm still waiting. So don't try that. Where am I going now? I've got where I'm going. I'm not supposed to say that, am I? So these are some of the messages that I received in my life that left me with a belief system that I believed that I wasn't enough. And it's through my life journey of kind of self-love and learning that I kind of was able to learn and understand that wasn't true. And one of the things that helped me with that was when I first started training in cognitive behaviour therapy. That's when I first started to learn about belief systems, about how we view ourselves, about the rules, unhelpful thoughts that we might have in our life. And that was just a revelation for me. I was like, wow, you know, I'm not this terrible flawed person, you know, I don't have to kind of see myself as, you know, no good compared to others, that there was reasons that I felt the way I was, and therefore it was a belief system that could also be changed. You know, so maybe you haven't had the kind of learning in life that I had, but we all have self-esteem. And self-esteem can affect us all, and it can affect you in big bits or little bits, and it can come from childhood experiences, or it can be from sudden changes in life, like a job loss, a relationship breakdown. But how it affects us all is really important. And going back to Dee's question, that she asked me why I did what I did, I did what I do because I understood how it felt to be her. I understood how it felt to maybe not feel good enough or have belief systems that stop me from doing things. And working with Dee, I realised that I really loved working with professional women who in some way had something that was stopping them from doing the things that they would like to do in their lives. And I was working in a service where there was lots of referrals coming through and lots of problems to help people with, but there weren't enough Ds coming through. So because of that, I have now developed, so this is See Yourself, Love Yourself. So this is a guide to increase self-esteem and confidence, and it's based on tools and techniques from cognitive behaviour therapy that I've used in my job over the last 14 years. Also my lessons and learning that I've had in life, and also all the lovely people that I've helped. So the first part is discover, and it's got 8 steps to it. And discover is really focusing on around who you already are. So although when people come into therapy, people come with a problem, which is understandable. They want a problem that's going to be solved. And we might, do some work around what's already happening that's good in somebody's life, but the focus of therapy ends up being about the problems. So this is a little bit different because, as I learned in my life, I spent a lot of my life trying to change everything about myself. And I realised that I didn't need to do that, that who I was all right. So who I was okay. So discover is really about spending much more time on you, understanding who you are as a good enough person already. And that in itself then lets some of those problems melt away because you realise that there maybe isn't as many things to change as you kind of thought that there was. So it also gives you a really solid foundation for moving forward. So Delve is the next part. It's a 5-step program, 5-step bit, sorry. I couldn't think of a word there. And this is where we are looking at all the past stuff. So it is important to understand why you haven't been able to make those changes. So for D, she had a learning that she'd grown up in this household that gave her a belief system that she felt that if she wasn't doing 100% of the time, she had failed. So it's important to understand that because you can then use that moving forwards. And the do it part is making the changes that you need to or would like to make, taking together discover and do it to help you do that. So for the purposes of today, we're going to go into Delve and we're going to have a little bit more of a look at errors and the thoughts and words that we use because that's where we started looking at. So I need for this next bit a couple of volunteers out of the audience, please. So who would be, thank you very much. Yep, we got to. Right. Thank you, and you are?
Hi, I'm Radka.
Radka. Hello, Radka.
Hi, I'm Helen.
Helen. Hi, Helen. Radka and Helen. Okay, I'm just going to give you, just so it's a bit corporate, but your clipboard. There you go. All right, so everyone else, if you'd like to grab your pieces of paper, you're going to do this sort of, just do the writing part sitting down. So what I would like you all to do is just write down 2 or 3 things that are negative words or sentences that you say to yourself. So you might have said today, it might be something in the past. You might have dropped something on the floor and you go, oh, you stupid idiot, what did you do that for? Something like that. So just, don't think too much about it, just quickly write down. It can be all 3 words or just 3 words, 2 or 3 words. Okay, so we done? 2 or 3? Okay. So could you 2 please face each other?
Hi.
Hi. Now I'd like you lot to imagine kind of doing this, okay? So what I'm going to ask you to do is, Radka, I'm going to ask you to say to Helen, Helen, you are, and to read your sentence out to her. Now, it might feel a little bit uncomfortable to do this, but please just kind of carry on through. And you guys imagine doing this to the person at the side of you.
Helen, you don't believe in yourself and in your success.
And Helen, if you like to say to Radka, Radka, you are.
Radka, you can't remember people's name.
I can't really. Yes.
So did you got another one? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you got another one that you can say to Helen?
What I can think of one.
You can think of one. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you like to say, Helen, you are.
Okay. Helen, you are, let's say, not knowledgeable enough.
Helen, if you say Radka.
Radka, you just don't fit in.
I don't. How do you know me so well?
So how does it feel to say those words to somebody else?
It feels cruel.
Terrible.
And how did it feel to receive them?
I'm facing quite the truth, and in this case, it doesn't feel good.
No? And how does it feel?
Unfair?
Unfair? Okay. So I'm sure you'll all agree that saying these words to somebody else doesn't feel very nice to do. So the question is why is it okay to say it to ourselves? And the answer is it's not. But we do it. So it's about learning to pay attention to that. So what I'd like you to do now is just turn your paper over. And I would like you to either, from words that you used before to describe yourself, or sorry guys, there's a slide up there, to just pick 3 words. Just quickly pick 3 words off.
Okay. Can I pick my own?
Yes, you can pick your own. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
So I'd like you to do the same thing again now. So I'd like you to say to Radka, Radka, you are, and say your 3 words to her, please.
Raka, you are loving, caring, and accepting.
Thank you. You again know me well.
And Radka, if you could say your words to Helen, please.
Okay, Helen, you are trustworthy, valued, and loyal.
So how did that feel?
A lot better.
And what would be one word you could use that describes how that made you feel?
Lovely, like really got appreciated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how about you?
It makes me feel, appreciated is the word.
Okay. So we can see how simple it is to change how we feel and how we feel about ourselves and how we feel about other people just by focusing on the simple things like the words that we use. So thank you very much. If everyone give you a round of applause, and there's a thank you. There you go. Little gift for you there for coming up.
Thank you.
There you go.
I didn't realize you.
Okay. So as you can see, the power of our words is really important. So I'd like you to leave you today with a couple of quotes. So I really like quotes. I think they're a really nice, quick way of being able to sort of, lighten up your day in some days. So this is a lady called Daan van Fustenberg. She's a Belgian fashion designer. I just read an article that was in a magazine one day, and this was the first line off it. So the most important relationship you can have in your life is the one that you have with yourself. So that's why we've been looking at words today and the words that you use about and to yourself. And the second is a quote from a lady called Dr. Edith Eger. She's a concentration camp survivor and a psychologist, and she's written 2 inspirational books called The Choice and The Gift. And she said you can't change what's happened, and you can't change what you did or what was done to you, but you can choose how you live now. So the message is to choose to be kind to yourself, choose to use nice words to yourself, choose to celebrate yourself, and to see yourself and love yourself. So thank you.